Yo, what's going down, Commanders? Hope everyone's doing fine today. I'm trying to question Kixeye, and I'm trying to question him fairly, and I'm trying to do things where I'm not just looking at it from a player's perspective, I'm looking at it from Kixeye's perspective. And I failed to realise what this retaliation event is all about. There's no entry level event anymore. Maybe the main event, but then you can't get heroes, so you can't do the hero event. You can't do the PvP sector breach event. You can get a hero. There is a crossover between skirmish and the main event, which is good, which is what we need to see. There needs to be crossovers for each individual event where you can get to a point where you can play it. But retaliation, I know we're on our first one, yada, yada, yada. Kixeye is probably going to add more prizes to the prize list as the event progresses. But what happens with the new players or returning players that haven't got these heroes? Not heroes, unique units. I don't know why I was talking about heroes 5 seconds ago. I do apologise. So basically, if you're new to the game, maybe Kixeye is going to give you the meteor storm, but that unit as a whole isn't good until you reach elite levels. So basically, it's not good. So what they're asking a new player, even if they give that unit out every single time free and you get it pre-built, blah, 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 it's still not a good unit until you reach level 11 where you get the 500 damage, flat damage reduction. So what they're asking new players to do is get that unit for free and then coin it 10 levels, 50 coin a pop, and then get the elite parts for it as well before you can turn it to elite. That's 40 parts in that event. So you can't actually turn it to a level 11 just with what Kixeye give you. Who in their right mind is going to join the game, play the game, and realise that they need to get this unit to a certain level and drop 500 coin, 50 bucks into the game straight away as a brand new player? This is why holdout was so important, in my opinion. It was a gateway to be able to get some of these uniques. Maybe it could have been a rotational thing with holdout retaliation, where 1 month we get a holdout, one month we get a retaliation. I think that would have been a fairer way for Kixeye to go about this. And it just gives the new players, the returning players, that little chance to be able to get the edge on some of the stuff that they're missing. Don't forget, with holdout, you had, I think it was closer to 500 different units you could buy. Units, tech, everything was involved. You could also buy the defensive uniques, or as Kixeye called them, guardians towards the end. That means the Sea Wizard, the Hungry Howard, the Matchlock, and all them units like that. You could get them within that event, and you could get them to a decent level with the tokens. Now, don't get me wrong, they may be put into the retaliation event eventually, but when you're just stuck on that one event, there's no way for a new player, returning player, to come into the game and go, right, this event's going to be for me. I'm going to make sure I get myself a high priority units, and then I can spread my units around the base or around the map and take on holdout, get everything that I need to go, and then be able to do a retaliation further down the road. It boggles the mind. Kixeye keeps saying that it's hard to advertise. It's getting harder for them to get new players or returning players coming back into the game. They do try to bribe every now and then. They try to bribe some of the players that have quit the game. They offer them a 500 odd coins or whatever. I think some of them are actually up to 600 or 700 coins as a one-time offer if they return to the game. But once that money's burned through, and they burn through it pretty quick, then players don't generally stick around, because the game is so focused on trying to gouge us or gorge us for our money that it gets to the point where they go, well, okay, you give me some money, but you know, you're asking for thousands of coins every event almost 4 times a week, and the money hasn't changed. So basically the player base has shrunk, but the actual value of what Kixeye value their coin packages at has never changed since day one. It's always stayed the same. Okay, we get a lesser coin sale. We used to get a 50% coin sale. Now we get a 30% coin sale. And I think in one of the events, I think it's Sector Breach, you get a 15% coin sale. Even that ain't tempting enough for a new player or a returning player to go, okay, I'm going to put some money into this game. And that's why you're seeing an influx of cheats, because if you can just cheat your way through the game, why not? You know, Why spend hard-earned money when you can literally just fucking buy a cheap program, whatever they're selling them for now, I don't know, but you can get it all for fuck all. And Kixeye are promising us that they're banning. They're not actually banning cheaters. I like to break this point. What they're banning is they're banning multi-account abuse. And what that is when they do, or if they do eventually move over to Steam, if you share a Steam account, your Steam account's getting shut down within. You might get away with it for a couple of months, but eventually Steam's going to cotton on because they don't want people buying a game on Steam and then giving their Steam account to one of their mates, and their mates downloaded that. They want that purchase. So that's why Kixeye are banning players. It's not because of cheating. It's not because they're using and abusing cheats and scripts and whatever else they can use. It's because they're sharing accounts, and Kixeye know over on Steam you're not going to get away with that. That's why we're seeing bans, and that's why. And they keep posting, well, we've banned this many players. So many of them were permanent. So many of them weren't. But it's not for cheating. They're trying to portray it as cheating, and it's not. And I just don't get what Kixeye are up to. They seem to think they're so focused on Steam, thinking this is going to be the way forward. But if you look at their other game on Steam, VGA Conflict, I think it's got like 170 players, active players over on Steam, which isn't good numbers, considering Steam's fucking massive numbers. I couldn't give you the numbers off the top of my head, but the amount of people on it, it's especially portrayed as a free-to-play game, it should have much bigger numbers than that. So it seems to me that Steam is a place where Kixeye games go to die. And it just don't make sense. Taking it away from Facebook, where, 3 or 4 billion people in the world are on Facebook, and moving it to Steam, where and they've got to remember the generation of their players isn't, the most players isn't a young player base no more. We're all pushing 40 plus. There is some youngsters on there. I've got Steam, and I will cross it over to Steam if I can. But they've got to remember there's a generation of players that ain't clued up in all that sort of stuff. So it's going to be detrimental to the overall presence of the game. And if they can't promote it over on Steam, if they can't get the game up in the charts over on Steam, it's just going to be ignored. I just don't get Kixeye's logic. The events are getting stupid. What they're doing is they're gatekeeping the events. So you can play this event, but if you're a new player or returning player, you're not going to be able to play this event. They don't put the legendary units available quick enough for the players that haven't got them to be able to progress. So that shuts that event down. The retaliation one is going to be in the same vein, because they give away one unit, but it's not actually of any use until you get it higher up in levels and elite. So where's the gate? Where's the gate to this game? Where's the event where players come in and they can play the event, and then that progresses them forward into being able to play the 3 other events that Kixeye put out every month? Only 2 of them you can cross over, which is the main event and the skirmish. But then you've got 2 events that are gate-kept behind monetization, and that's cutting off your nose despite your face. I've watched Sector Breach go from my videos going from like 4, 5, 6,000 views down to 2,000 views in the space of months. Now they've got their numbers, they've got the figures that they're getting people who are playing this event. I know Kixeye have kind of made it easier if you've got the right tools, but it just boggles my mind. And I'm trying to fucking question where's the progress in what they've done. You know, they put out a questionnaire the other day, survey, sorry, not a questionnaire, all about PvP. But they never asked the right questions. Not really. They asked the questions where the answers are probably what they're going to hear. Not the hard-hitting questions. And then when they do put something out in the Discord where they say, oh, give us feedback on retaliation, and you say something that they don't want to hear, you get kicked off their Discord. It don't make no sense at all. They've got to learn from their mistakes. They can't just brush everything under the rug. You've got to listen to people, even if they're angry and mad at you. You've got to listen to your fucking community, the people that are paying your wages. If you lose that, you're going to start losing. I know of a bunch of Bitcoiners that have quit this game because it's just too money hungry. It's too orientated at spend with big promises. And the stuff that we spend on, or the stuff that they spend on, turns out to be junk. Why would they keep doing it? They've moved on from this game, and it's going to continue to to grow like that until Kixeye understand that we as the players, we want something back in return, not just shit on every time they Kixeye get a chance. Anyway, I just won't put it out there. It just bothers me, and I think it's getting to the point where we know that Kixeye are just scamming us at this point, and it's a shame because the premise of this game is fucking fantastic. If they wasn't so greedy, make everything available to everyone. That's all you've got to do. Make sure the new players can progress. Make sure the returning players can progress. Make sure the lower level players have got a goal to go for. When you take that away and you say, well, the only way you're going to be able to get to this point is through massive amounts of money, people start walking, and it's just fact. Anyway, I ain't going to waffle on anymore, guys. Hopefully you had a good day. I will be live later on tonight, 1800 hours GMT, for the downtime event show and skirmish event briefing. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.